The gospel that we just read is known as the parable of the ten virgins. Among other things, the gospel today invites us to contemplate the end of the world and the end of our lives. Remember that we are now in the middle of the end of an old liturgical season and a new liturgical season. This coming Sunday is already the beginning of a new liturgical year, the first Sunday of Advent. The parable today wants us to remember that death itself could come at a time when we least expect it. Death may even come like a thief in the night, because in death, sometimes there is an element of surprise. That is why we are urged to pray and be prepared, because we neither know the day nor the hour. There is no way for us, for you, for me to know when, to know how, to know where death will come to pick us up. In other words, we must be prepared anytime and all the time. The old must die, the young may die. This parable, though an end-time prophecy, has a simple but significant message, and that is, be prepared, be watchful, be vigilant, you stay awake. As the motto of the Boy Scouts say, laging handa. My dear brothers and sisters, the truth is, we face death every day while we are awake and even when we sleep. And the best preparation for a happy, a holy, and peaceful death is to pray for it and to live our life well. I remember Saint Benedict, in his rule for monks, wanted his monks to think of death every day. Saint Benedict was telling his monks, keep death daily before your eyes, because death may come like a thief in the night. Death can come anytime. Staying awake is not to be understood literally, because the truth is we cannot stay awake all the time. We have to sleep. It is impossible not to go to sleep. Staying awake here has a very spiritual meaning. All the 10 virgins fell asleep, and staying awake here means getting ready or being prepared at all times. Our Lord makes a distinction between the symbolism of being asleep from that of staying awake. When a person does not look forward to the acquisition of spiritual values, or when he appreciates the material world more than God, then that person is spiritually asleep and is being foolish, like the 5 foolish virgins in the gospel. My dear friends, I have 3 little points as far as the gospel today is concerned. Number 1, the parable of the 10 virgins reminds us about certain things in life that we cannot obtain at the last minute. You know, Filipinos are famous for procrastination. We always postpone, we always delay, but there are certain things that we cannot obtain at the last minute. It is not always advisable to advocate the Filipino tradition of mañana habit. It is not good to procrastinate. It is not good to postpone. To be tardy is always a tragedy. For example, it is too late for a student to cram for a major exam, starting to read and to study only tonight, when the major exam is tomorrow. Impossible. It is always a tragedy. It is impossible for a person who will take the bar exam or the board exam, difficult exams, and you will study only for a short while. Impossible. There are certain things that you cannot obtain at the last minute. Number 2, the parable of the 10 virgins is warning us that there are certain things that we cannot borrow from other people. What are some of the things that you cannot borrow from other people? You cannot borrow character. You cannot borrow good manners and right conduct. You cannot borrow education. You cannot borrow spirituality. You cannot borrow talent. Either you have it or you do not have it. There are certain things that we cannot borrow from others. And finally, number 3, the parable of the 10 virgins notifies us to constantly evaluate how well we use our time, because time wasted is simply existence, but time used well means life. My dear friends, my dear seminarians, remember that time has no resurrection. Time has no resurrection. And a person will always say he has no time for something he is not interested in. The wise and the foolish virgins are symbols of the way we live. We should be like the wise virgins whose lamps are kept burning, ready at all times.